If I was to tell you that one of Ishwen's top teams has Jufufu using swing jazz and not King of the Summit, would you call me crazy? Well, I thought it was crazy too at first. And no, this is not a joke, and no, this is not clickbait. As a Japanese creator has discovered what I believe to be one of Ishwen's best teams, I'm not going to sit here and say with confidence it is her best team overall, but I do believe he has discovered one of her best teams. And ladies and gentlemen, we might have the second coming of Hugo. Because Ishwen, Qingyi, Jufufu, all at M0 was able to kill the priest. And not only were they able to kill, they were able to kill convincingly. So sit back, relax, and let's talk about it, because I am very excited to break this down. Welcome to my channel. My name is ZZZ, and I'll be your host today. Patch 2.0 is finally here, and with that comes the reset of top-up bonuses in the game. But wait, did you know that if you were to use lootbar.gg, you could be saving big on these bundles? In fact, if you were to click on my exclusive link today, new users could save an extra 10% on any purchase that they would make. And this is not just for Zenless Zero, no. It could be Honkai Star Rail, Wuthering Waves, Genshin Impact, or any big mobile game that you would like to play on a daily basis. And also, if you were to enter the website during the anniversary, they have a limited time special pack just for you at an extreme discount. And once I enter my UID and region, and click on the bundle that I would like to purchase for myself, within seconds I have it delivered to my account ready to go. So be sure to check the link in the description below or pinned comment and save big with Lootbar today. And with that out the way, let's get you back to the video. Now before we get started, I want to first shout out the Japanese creator who made this video. Also going to leave a link to his channel in the description below. I would also like to shout out EO, because he's the one who brought this video to my attention, so I wouldn't be able to break this down for you guys if it wasn't for EO. And I also want to shout out Lino and Yoji, as I talked to them behind the scenes on Discord about a few things, and also I have a little bit of their footage in this video. So I really appreciate both of them, and yeah, let's get started, man. First, let's break down the team. Ishwen, Qingyi, Jufufu. That's one hell of a team. It's looking like a Hugo team, isn't it? I know, right? It looks like a Hugo team. Double stun with Ishwen? What? And you would be shocked to know just how effective it actually is. But to break down this team, first off, let's talk about each character. Ishwen is a character that has been out for quite some time now, since 2.0, and she by far does most of her damage in the stun window. She is a very stun reliant character to get her damage out. Qingyi, 1.1 agent, is a character that buffs the stun window very well. And Jufufu is a tailor-made support that works extremely well with Ishwen, as you all might see from the content creator early access Jufufu videos. So when you first hear it like that, you think, oh, well, that's a no-brainer. This team should work very well. But then some might think, oh, but then you have Qingyi. One of Qingyi's biggest downfalls over the last few months is her being so greedy for field time. While that can be okay in an area like Shiyu defense, it can sometimes be her downfall in game modes such as Deadly Assault, as even Juyen has seen much better results in Deadly Assault by replacing Qingyi with either Astra or Trigger. And obviously Nicole is always going to be there. And to be quite honest with you, Qingyi doesn't really outperform Astra or Trigger in Shiyu defense anymore either. At least the last few Shiyu defenses, for that much. If she does outperform them, it's by a very slight margin. It's not that big of a difference at all. And then other than Haramasa, there wasn't really many characters that just truly wanted Qingyi. So she's been a character in the community that has just been going down the radar for quite some time now. But little did we know that with patch 2.0, an agent by the name of Ishwin would come out and completely revive Qingyi. Like, honestly, Qingyi is incredible with Ishwin. And this has been shown by many creators. This has been shown by many great players in other Discord servers I'm in. They just have extreme synergy. But why is this, you might be asking? Aren't they both characters that want field time? Well, it turns out Ishwin is a lot more flexible in terms of field time than people might think. And this is because Ishwin has many actions where she can still be attacking, such as her whole dodge, or when she runs out of adrenaline, you can easily switch Qingyi in to do her stuff. And by gracefully swapping between the two, managing both of their resources, it just works extremely well. And recently my good friend Yoji was able to show this by getting a kill with Ishwin Panda Qingyi. So Ishwin is a character that doesn't punish you nearly as hard for having Qingyi on field as others. And with the new stun set King of the Summit also giving Qingyi access to buff her DPS even more, and Qingyi not being reliant on her additional ability at all, it just makes for an incredible pairing. But I think I would be doing this team a disservice if I didn't talk about every single one of their synergy with each other, because it's not just Qingyi that has synergy with Ishwin. Qingyi also has innate synergy with Jufufu. All three of these characters have synergy with each other. As we already talked about, Qingyi and Ishwin are able to gracefully swap between each other, managing their resources, and Qingyi being able to buff the stun window so well, that's why they work so well together. Jufufu giving extra decibels to Ishwin because she has two ultimates makes it so even though you're running double stunner, it makes it extremely hard to stun too fast to where you won't have your ultimate ready for the stun window. And the biggest thing for this team is Qingyi and Jufufu's buffs do not saturate each other, as Qingyi is giving a stun damage multiplier and Jufufu is giving crit damage as long as chain attack bonus and ultimate bonus. And these buffs work extremely well together. They do not saturate each other. So all three of these agents have innate synergy, and it's like a well-working machine. As you switch back and forth between Qingyi and Ishwin, you'll want a defensive assist to Jufufu between every 10 to 15 seconds to get an extra momentum stack. But other than that, Jufufu's doing her stuff and supporting the team off field, while Qingyi and Ishwin are working as a tandem on field. But the biggest advantage to this team, in my honest opinion, is not all the innate synergy, but is the ability to do three things. One, not be reliant on Astra Yao, allowing you to put Astra Yao on another team. Two, if you were unlucky and not able to get M6 Pan, you now have a solid as replacement if you have a Qingyi already on your account. And three, Ishwin in Deadly Assault really wants to do 4 stun windows. 4 really good stun windows. And while the M6 Pan and Qingyi team can get 4 stun windows, it is extremely difficult for most players, as you gotta be tight on your day's timing with Qingyi's charge attack and her ultimate, and your defensive assist also have to be well timed as well. But with Qingyi Jufufu, you get 4 stuns incredibly easy now with this team. And not only are you getting the 4th stun easy, Jufufu will almost guarantee that you have your ult ready every single stun because she's able to give Ishwen 600 extra decibels. So when you factor in all these things, this is just an incredible team for Ishwen. It just is. Now, like I said at the beginning of the video, will it be her best M0 team? I'm not confident enough to say that. But will it be one of her best teams that is extremely simple and easy to play? Yes, absolutely. And for me, that's already more than enough. That's already more than enough. You don't gotta do much more than that. Like, that's already more than enough. Now, before we get into gearing the team and how you should gear it, I quickly wanted to just answer a question that I already know is going to be asked. Can you replace Qingyi with Trigger? Yes, you technically can, but remember there are going to be a few downsides with the M0 Trigger. Number one, Trigger is much more engine reliant to get her top performance than Qingyi, and Trigger simply can't use her own engine with Ishwen. She just can't. It doesn't work. Two, it's a little bit harder to get 4 stuns with Trigger than it is Qingyi, but it should still be more than possible. Absolutely. I'm not saying it's impossible. It should still absolutely be more than possible. But do remember that Trigger's additional ability is not going to be active on the team, so that's even less days that she's normally doing. 3, playing Trigger and Jufufu, that's 2 Aftershock agents. So you're having to put a lot of the on-field on Ishwen, which is fine, but Ishwen's basic attacks aren't that great. So it's just kind of an awkward team. And lastly, Trigger over Qingyi is going to be slightly more out of stun damage, but less in stun damage. And remember, Ishwen does do the bulk of her damage in the stun window. So those are the differences with Trigger instead of Qingyi. So yeah, those are the differences between Trigger and Qingyi. Now, when it comes to gearing the team, it's very simple. You're going to use Ishwen's signature set on her by far. 2-piece will be Woodpecker or 2-piece Branch and Blade. If you need more crit rate, obviously use crit rate. If you need more crit damage, then obviously use Branch and Blade. Now, for Jufufu, it's Swing Jazz. And here's why. For one, Qingyi has no problem keeping the buff up for King of Summit, so that's not an issue at all, especially if you're doing the ult cancel tech, which I know a lot of players are trying to learn or still trying to learn. But most importantly, Jufufu can keep Swing Jazz up 100% of the time, because her off-field Aftershock counts as a chain attack. And she does it very, very often. So anytime she does her off-field chain attack or her ultimate, she's refreshing the Swing Jazz buff for the entire team. And there are massive, massive benefits for doing this. One, you no longer have to worry about getting 50 crit rate on Jufufu. You can now full send the attack and impact. You go 4-piece Swing Jazz and 2-piece Hormone Punk or 2-piece Astral Voice for the attack percent. You do attack 4th, attack 5th, and impact 6th. And then you just try to get as much attack percent and flat attack in your substats until you hit the 3400 attack that you need for the max buff. Being able to ignore crit rate is just going to be a massive quality of life for building Jufufu for a lot of players, because now you don't have to worry about crit rate and attack. You can now just straight up worry about attack and impact. And by running her on Swing Jazz, that allows your Qingyi to run King of the Summit. And by being able to run her on King of the Summit, you now don't have to worry about running Proto Punk. Because with Proto Punk, it can sometimes be tricky to make sure that you have the proto-punk buff up and stun. But when Qingyi's on King of the Summit and Jufufu is on Swing Jazz, you are just going to naturally have these buffs up for the vast majority of the fight, if not all of the fight. So it's extremely close to just having these buffs up anytime you need them. And I just think that's a massive quality of life. Now for W engines, for Ishwen, just use the best engine you have. If you have her signature, obviously use her sig. If you have a crit rate main stat engine, that's actually better than the other rupture engines, so use that on her instead, because Ishwen just scales extremely hard off a crit compared to other agents. For Qingyi, if you have her sig, that's fine. If you don't have her sig, that is also more than fine. Because you're running King of the Summit on her, Steam Oven is a more than fine option for her. You're getting a very similar amount of impact compared to her signature, and you're also getting energy regen, which lets you do more EX specials on Qingyi to help keep the uptime of King of the Summit even higher than it already is. So if you don't have Qingyi's signature, do not stress. Go get the free-to-play Steam Oven, and you're still going to perform amazing with it. Now for Jufufu, obviously if you have her sig, go for it. It'll make getting the attack buff even easier. But if you don't have her sig and you happen to have a Hellfire Gears laying around, Hellfire Gears will do perfectly fine. It's an impact main stat, gives her a little bit more ER, has a higher base attack than A ranks, and she will perform perfectly fine with it. If you don't have Hellfire Gears, then just go for Precious Fossilized Core. As Jufufu being an Aftershock agent doesn't use the ER from Steam Oven quite as well as other stun agents do. So just go for Precious Fossilized Core. It'll help her impact in her days, and she'll still do perfectly fine with it. Alright, and we're going to wrap up the video by breaking this down. Again, one more time, my editor, shout out the channel, put it on the screen right now. And let's just break down this fight. We're just going to break down certain parts of the fight so you guys can see how it's played. And yes, he does get the kill here, the full 65,000 points. But let's just see how he plays it. Okay, we're going to start off by building a little bit on Ishwen. Now we're building up Qingyi's meter. All right, already have half her buff applied. King of the Summit is now active from the EX special. And we already now have the full buff applied for Qingyi. For those who don't know, all Qingyi needs to do is 2 full charge attack combos on the enemy to fully stack her stun damage multiplier when the enemy is finally stunned. Now that we have that out of the way, we're going to switch to Jufufu, do her EX special to build up some might, and then we're going to switch to Ishwen to get her on field to start building up her decibels and getting ready for the stun window. Jufufu just did her Aftershock chain attack. You saw the fire on the screen. When she does that, that means that she just did her Aftershock chain attack. And since she did her chain attack off field, Swing Jazz is now active. That means King of the Summit and Swing Jazz are both active right now. Still building decibels on Ishwen. Just making sure she has enough for her technique ult. Back to Qingyi. This is very important. Gonna EX special right before the stun window on Qingyi. And this is because we want to use Jufufu's chain attack in the stun window, not Qingyi's, because Jufufu has Swing Jazz on. So we want to make sure that that buff hasn't worn off at the very beginning of the stun window. So to keep the King of the Summit buff up, we need to use Qingyi's EX before the stun window to make sure King of the Summit stays up during the stun. Now we're going to switch over to Ishwen. Now they're about to do the ult cancel tech. If you guys want me to make a video on this, I could, but technically I can just leak the video of Leno teaching how to do it in his video. I think that would just be easier if you guys don't know what this is. I've practiced it so much that I get it almost damn near every time now, but it is something that you will have to practice. But just know that you do not have to do this if you do not want to. So he did the ult cancel tech. Now we're going to switch to Jufufu, do her chain attack. And now we're going to switch to Ishwen. Now, if you didn't do that, you would just start the stun with the technique ult, and the technique ult would start stun. So you would only technically be losing just a couple seconds. Doing the ult cancel is not that much higher DPS. So do not stress if you can't do it right now, or if you just don't simply want to learn it. Please don't stress about that. It's barely higher DPS at all. You're barely gaining anything from it. It just looks really cool and it is technically optimal, but don't stress about it if you can't do it. If you can't do it right now, you would just simply, let's go back. You would just simply start stun with the technique ult. And instead of it doing the ult cancel, you would just do the technique ult and the technique ult would start the stun. And then you would simply do Jufufu's chain into Ishuan's chain. So like, please guys, like if you can't do this right now, don't stress about it. You don't have to do this if you don't want to. And now we have enough decibels. This is really, really key to point out how strong Jufufu is with Ishuan. You see how we're over 3k decibels? I fucking love that Jufufu makes decibels not be wasted in this type of team. Because these extra decibels might seem little, but it could be the difference between you getting your ult in time for the stun window or not. That little bit could be the difference. You never know. So I think it's a very nice quality of life for Ishuan with Jufufu that she's able to do this for her, and also other attack agents as well. But you're gonna now not do the last chain attack because that wastes too much time. Just always do Jufufu's into Ishuan on this team for chain attacks. Don't do the last one, just cancel. Go straight into her big ult. And now we're just gonna finish with some EX specials into a hold dodge, back to Jufufu, and this is the beautiful synergy of Qingyi and Ishuan. Let's go back. So we're gonna finish stun here. The fact that Ishuan has the ability to still do actions when she's not the active agent allows for a character that is field hungry like Qingyi to do her stuff with very, very little punishment for doing it. And as you can see, Qingyi already has a lot of her buff applied from the first, and now she already has the full stun multiplier applied already, reactivating King of the Summit. And I want you to take a look here. Take a look at the top of Ishuan. Look at her decibel meter, bro. Because of Jufufu, Ishuan is already almost at her next ultimate, and this was an extremely quick stun. If it wasn't for Jufufu, we would be starting this next stun window, possibly not having her ultimate, and that would be very, very bad. So this team just has so much synergy because everybody in this team is just working together flawlessly. You don't get punished for fast stuns on this team. All right, again, we're gonna start stun with Qingyi's EX to make sure King of the Summit is up. We already have the full buff apply for Qingyi. This time, he chooses to, instead of using Jufufu's ultimate for days, they choose to use it for damage. So after I recorded this, I went back and looked at this part again because something was telling me that that wasn't right. And looking at it, yeah, he messed up. He was supposed to build his talisman ult before the stun window, and he didn't. So that was a big mistake, and that's why he chose to use the Jufufu ult the way he did. Had he had not messed up and forgot to build his talisman ult, then the stun window would have went better. It would have had a higher score, and he wouldn't have had to do a buzzer beater basically for the kill. Like, it would have been a comfortable kill had he not messed up this stun window right here. So yeah, that's on me. That's my bad. I was wrong. I'm glad I went back and looked at this because something was telling me that that just wasn't right. It's a good team, man. It's a solid ass team. It's a solid ass team. Benefits of it are no Astra, no M6 pan. So if you need Astra on a different team, go for it. Or if you simply don't have M6 pan because you got unlucky with your pulls and you have a qingyi laying around, go for it. If you don't like pan, which is crazy because I don't see how you don't like the Dragon Warrior, but if you don't like pan and you have this team available, then hey, this is more than viable for you, right? This is more than viable. You don't have to get the kill, by the way. I was just showing that this team can kill. Just know that if you're not getting the kill, that's okay. You don't have to get the kill in zenless to get all the rewards. As long as you're getting 20k, that is more than enough. And this team is extremely easy to get 20k with, even with unoptimal play. Make sure you go check out this creator in the description below. He quite literally doesn't have a single English comment on this video. It's all Japanese. And I hope I was able to break this down well enough for you guys. If you guys like this type of video, let me know, and I'll make more in the future, potentially for other agents. If you have any questions, leave it in the comments below. I'll try my best to answer. Join the Discord. We are so close to 5,000 members. I am doing a Jufufu giveaway, so make sure you guys come and join for that. And be sure to subscribe for more Zenless Zone Zero content, and I will see you all on tonight's stream. But as always, my name is Keta the 7th, and with that, I am signing out. Peace.